We're going to talk about the language of flowers, which is fascinating. Flowers are one of the most vibrant reminders of God's glory, His artistry, fragile, and they're so fleeting. They're full of color and aromas with awe-inspiring array of shapes and sizes. They look good enough to eat, and many of them are indeed edible. This is that handout I was telling you about on my Patreon site. This is a list of many of my favorite edible flowers. Many of them grow wild, and some are cultivated in gardens. Others are vegetable flowers, tree flowers, fruit flowers, and herb flowers. And back of this handout has a few ideas on how to use edible flowers in cooking, garnishing, and for healing properties. The language of flowers is fascinating. Did you know that the flowers you give as gifts could be sending a secret message? Flowers have a language of their own. The Victorians made an art of it. Perhaps you've heard about Victorian women carrying small bouquets called tussie-mussies. These bouquets were not just for show or scent. The flowers in them were chosen for the messages encoded in them. For example, strands of ivy signified fidelity and friendship, and gardenias conveyed a secret love, and forsythias was anticipation. Shakespeare used the meaning of flowers to enhance his storylines, as in Hamlet, when poor Ophelia laments, "There's rosemary, that's for remembrance. Pray, love, remember. And there is pansies, and that's for thoughts." Even dashing Leopold in the movie Kate and Leopold knew better than to send a woman orange lilies. Okay, I'll have to give the credit to that quote down in the comments. So listen to this poem that was written in 1875 called The Language of Flowers. There is a language little known, lovers claim it as their own. Its symbols smile upon the land, wrought by nature's wondrous hand, and in their silent beauty speak of life and joy to those who seek, for love divine in sunny hours, in the language of the flowers. So we'll be going over as many of the plants that I could find their language, what they represent in this presentation. But first I want to talk about some creative ways to use flowers and even to preserve them. So one of my favorite ways is to make flower ice cubes with edible flowers. And I just wanted to make a caveat really quick because I forgot to tell you, and I always warn you, that there are a lot of poisonous flowers, and we will do a class on poisonous plants after we finish this flower series. We can put them in flower ice cubes. There's ways to do that. I've written about that on the back of my handout. You can crystallize them in sugar to use for decorations on bakery goods, or you can encrust them in cheese and butter. Aren't these beautiful? These are not my photos, but they are amazing. Okay, this is my photos from here on. So here are forsythias for garnishing, and over on the right is my Mediterranean wild food feast that I did with in 2017 with Mark Williams, and it was amazing. So look at all of those flowers that are garnishing. I'm garnishing just my wild wontons with some bachelor buttons on the right. And you can garnish cocktails. You can put them in salads. It makes any dish pop with joy. So I love daylilies. They taste like sweet, sweet lettuce. And so they add color and crunch and flavor and even nutrition. I've made some fritters with cooking with flowers and cooking with dandelion blossoms. You honestly have to keep them in water until the very second you're going to dip them in batter because they will close up. You can also put edible flowers on a cake. This is Sojourner right on the right-hand side, Chambé's beautiful sister. Look at how beautiful those cakes look with just some beautiful flowers, and she decorated them. You can use them in oils or vinegars, and I've been doing that all week because I've got plans. And you can infuse flowers for wild drinks. Locust blossoms, a whole bunch of dandelion to make dandelion wine or soda or any type of drink. And so here's a lineup of some of my drinks. The rose flowers and the bee balm and the goldenrod are the only ones that are flowers. The pine is made with the needles, the dandelion is made with the roots, and the sumac is made with the berries. You can use edible flowers for making gems and jellies. So this is violet jelly, this is dandelion jelly on the middle, and this is a rose jam on the right. You can infuse flowers for wild syrups, the elderflower cordial, and you need to make that before you can make elderflower cakes, elderflower watermelon slushies. Whatever you cook with elderflowers, you have to make the cordial first. And so I've got recipes for that coming out for my Patreon members. So excited. You can flavor honeys and sugars and salts. Even, this is Epsom salts. This is from the Nerdy Farm Wife, and I thought this was amazing how she put the rose petals into the Epsom salts for a delicious bath, and she probably added some essential oil as well, which certainly I would do. And then I found this trick for drying flowers that really, really works. I've got this really nice kind of flat basket, and I put my elderflowers in there, and I stuck it on the dashboard in my car on a hot afternoon, and within an hour, maybe two, they were nice and perfect. And it's best to make teas out of dried plant material. I'm not really sure why that is. If anyone knows, please comment, because I would be curious to know why that is. But the picture on the right, my dear friend Pamela collected these apple blossoms. There's some violets I can see, and maybe those are locust flowers, I'm not sure. And then the red bud flowers. And then she made that into a delicious tea. You can make them into bouquets and follow nature's way. All of my bouquets, starting from the very beginning with the daffodils, even though those are not edible, all year long. I'm always having flowers as a centerpiece or to give away, and it's kind of fun to see what comes up as nature's wave is constantly shifting. So the spring on the left, summer in the middle, and fall on the right. And you can play with flowers. So making tiaras is a lot of fun. Allison Dees made this beautiful flower crown for Lisa for her birthday on Saturday night, and I made her elderflower ice cream with coconut milk, which was amazing, with chocolate. Or you can dry flowers for crafts.
I think, yeah, so these were all ferns.
You can hold it.
That was Queen Anne's lace. And I think, wait, this is also, that was the leaf though, and this is the flower. These are separate leaves of the bee balm.
Wow, this is the best thing you've ever made.
Yeah, it might actually be.
Now let's talk about food, because I'm always so food centric. The buds come before the flowers, so these are the dandelion buds, and they come up very low to the ground, but they are delicious. And from these buds, make things like what I've got on the right. And so the nutrition in these guys are amazing. And dandelions, when they first open, the first time after they've been in that tight bud, and then they close, and then they open, and they close, they do that 5 times, and then they become that little seed globe that we love to blow on. So really, you want to collect the buds before they've opened the first time to get the best chew factor and the best nutrition. And so that is amazing. And what I love to do with that is just to steam them a little bit and then saute them in bacon grease with a little bit of feta cheese, and maybe squeeze a lemon and some salt. Oh, you could see bacon in there too, which is always good. Here's the buds I was talking about earlier. Look at that. What color do you see? Do you see pink? I know it doesn't look like it, but it's there. So it's kind of like we need to learn patience, right? Like we want our banana to turn yellow right away. But you know what? It's just a matter of being patient. And the more you spend time in nature, following its wave and waiting patiently for the next stage, it always happens because God is faithful.